Now that we know what's the service business and what are the moments of truth, we now need to understand what is the service design. How are we going to design the service that we will be trying to deliver? If the service design goes wrong, the service delivery will go wrong. Let me take a small example for you. In the colony where we stay, there is a small restaurant. Now, all of us normally used to have food from there, and then the standards started dropping. Now, when the food was not of good quality, they tried to reduce price rather than giving us a better offering or tastier food. So standards started dropping. So then a group of people, they got pretty upset about it, and they then started a small van. They had a van, and they started cooking in that van. Started a small service business with the promise that the food that they will be delivering will be better than the restaurant food. Yeah. So here, if you see, do they have a captive audience? Of course, the whole colony people could have gone to them. But what we saw was that after 2 weeks, the van business went off. It was over, got over. They just checked it up, and what happened was that the restaurant, the internal restaurant quality improved. So what's happening here? If someone tries to understand this, this is all about the service design. The people who started the van business had good intention, but they have never done service business before, so they could not design it well. And in process, what happens is that the restaurant people who know how to design a service, they understood the failure in their services which was happening, and then they are able to now deliver better value. So service design has got certain elements. The first element is service promise. What is it that you are promising to your customers? A Domino's pizza has a promise of 30 minutes, else free. Now, this puts a lot of pressure onto the organization, because they might be, if a person says that I am staying in XYZ colony and that colony cannot be serviced in 30 minutes, then they are losing sales. But that's all about service promise. If you cannot live up to the promise, you do not take the order. So what they will do is that they will come up, if there are lots of lost sales like this, they will come up with a new store in and around that area, so that they can meet up to this service level. That is the extent of service promise that an organization must go for. We have seen several places where people will say total service, total satisfaction guaranteed. Several hotels I have seen this. I have personally had a very good experience in one Radisson, but a very bad experience in another Radisson. So inconsistency is here. So service promise is not easy to live with, because it is difficult. It is, and as we know, that service is very dependent on people. If we look at then after the service promise, to ensure that you deliver as per that service promise, you have to define the service standards. Now, when you're defining the service standards, you have to keep in mind what you are offering to your customers. For example, there are airlines which are full service airlines. So the moment you say the full service, the customer knows that he is going to get food in the flight. He is going to get a much better ambience in the aircraft, and typically these are also little longer flights. The other is low cost. The moment it is low cost airlines, the customer knows that there will be no food, it will be a quick service. If he wants something, he should book for it in advance. So the moment he chooses any of these, he knows he has the expectation of the service standard. And the third is service layout. How are you going to provide this particular service, what is the layout around it. Now, for example, in the case of a retail outlet which wants to cater to lot many customers, how much of space are they going to take? What is the what are the goods they are going to keep? What is the are they going to only service to walk-ins, or are they going to are they going to do door delivery? The moment such promises are made, as per that the service has to be laid out. Therefore, so many staff needs to be organized, so much equipment needs to be organized. And if the service layout is not as per the service standards and the service promise, then there is what we call complaints. And complaints lead to loss of word of mouth, and that leads to a lot of challenge for the organization which is offering the service. Service being intangible in nature, it's very important to tangibilize it and have a clear, transparent, clear understanding on what is the service promise, what is the service standards, and what is my service layout at the back end to be able to meet the service standards and therefore meet the service promise. One organization which does this very well is Starbucks. Starbucks, as we know, is a coffee company. They are using three commodities, which are milk and sugar and coffee, and creating magic around it. So while they have excellent branding plus offering, one should also remember that all their baristas are extensively trained to deliver excellent service design. So once these three are in place, they have got a magic which can be replicated, and they have learned how to replicate this magic and roll it out worldwide. So service design, once you have designed your service, to be able to roll it out worldwide and to be able to do it well, you need to have excellent amount of control on the service delivery, which is the next lesson we'll go with.